I met an interesting couple this morning. You know, the numbers show that the shorter the courtship, the shorter the marriage. For today's couple, even though they played online games together for years, the 6 days they spent together in the real world were not enough to keep them out of divorce court.
Divorce court is now in session.
I have here Mr. Clinton Graves and Mrs. Amberly Graves. The two of you have been married for how long? 2 years?
Since January, Your Honor.
Since January, so not even a year yet. You're already in divorce court. We're going to figure out how we got there, but Mr. Graves, you have got to tell me how you two met, because I've never heard of this before.
Your Honor, hold on to your gavel. This is going to be a rough one. Okay, so basically, we met on an online social media website game. Okay, so basically what we do, we create avatars, we dress them up, we buy houses, we buy pets, buy all the stuff that that you want in the houses, and you dress yourself up and you go and talk to other people.
Avatars.
Right. So I was dressed in a green mohawk, pink thong, and the reason why, there is a reason.
And a bow tie, Your Honor.
And a bow tie. There was a reason, because it sparked conversation. And through those conversations was how I met Amberly.
Now, keep going.
Okay. So the conversations that been had were not kiddie conversations.
Your Honor, can I? Real quick, the way we actually met was I was sitting in a room talking with a bunch of my friends at a little beach party, and he walked in.
An avatar beach party.
Right, a little avatar beach party. And somebody came in who was all snazzy and tried to hit on me. And he
wasn't me.
He walked in looking pathetic, and I kind of felt bad for him. So I sarcastically said, "He has better of a chance than you do." And he took that as a challenge to try to get in my little avatar panties.
But now, here's the deep part to me, is that the avatars actually go into private rooms and have avatar sex.
Well, not visually.
It's
all
talk.
typing.
Yeah, it's all typing. And
Oh, and it's all talk.
it's a lot of good typing.
So you mean to tell me your avatars go into a private space where nobody else is, and you just say what we're doing to one another?
Right.
It's like phone sex, but typing. Because I got kids in the other room.
Anything else to do?
Well, see,
I don't understand the allure.
Just each other.
The thing is, I've been doing this since I was like 16, Your Honor, and this is more, it was not anymore, was more of an addiction for me. And it got to the point where I would, we'd go into instant message, and, I'd have like, 12, 13, 14 chats going at one time. I would copy and paste basically what I was saying to everyone. So it was more of an addiction than it was just...
That's even scarier.
I agree.
I must, do you still avatar?
No, I do not.
How did you guys go from being virtually connected to actually connected?
We started talking and just laughing and made each other laugh constantly and just had this crazy connection immediately. And then once we both realized we were single in the real life, then it became telephone involved as well. I just did not know about the other 14 women until about a month into it.
A month into the telephone conversations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you having online relationships with 14 different women?
I mean, 14, it wasn't like...
He couldn't count.
Yeah, I didn't know the names
you
or
were
anything.
just
It was
doing,
just in
you
general.
were doing volume.
Yeah, I was. I was.
And when did you first meet in the flesh?
In December of 2013.
And then you married in January?
Of this year.
Oh, so you were dating
I moved in
for
with
a
him
year.
in February of 2014.
Okay. Did you guys live close by?
No.
Actually, I lived in Michigan and he lived in Kentucky. I left my entire family. We all lived within like a 6-block radius, cousins, aunts, uncles, everything, to live with him in Kentucky about 9 hours away.
You mean to tell me based upon avatar sex and some text messages and a telephone conversation. He could have been anybody.
It was
Do you know
good.
what I mean? But con men and perverts and molesters are very, very good at grooming people. They know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. How did you know? And I'm not calling you any one of those things.
Right.
I just wanted you to know. But I'm just saying, on a safety tip, why would you move your entire life for someone you never really met?
We talked about 24/7. I mean, it was literally, we would even sleep on the phone together. The first time I came down to visit him, I was there for 3 days. Then we went down and visited in January. He met my daughter.
So there was some visiting going on.
Yes.
So you had some sense of who he was,
right,
and that he was really who he said he was, and all of that kind of stuff.
And then we had an emergency at my home up in Michigan. The pipes exploded. It was going to be $22,000 to fix that. So I didn't have anywhere to live, and he had just gotten his own home with an extra bedroom and said, well, you know, why don't you come live with me?
I'm a nice guy.
You know, people say this kind of stuff to me all the time. You should never let small things make big decisions for you. And I know $22,000 is not a small thing, but it's a repair. You know, you can move to a house across the street, you can rent something or whatever you have to do. You don't make your pipes determine where you're going to live and who you're going to live with.
I agree. It was crazy. My job actually had another location about 5 minutes from where he lived, so they transferred me. So I still had employment. My daughter
Well, thank
was
goodness for
homeschooled.
that, because if you'd have left a job, I'd have really been high on that.
Right, right. And actually got a promotion when I moved, so that was a good thing.
All right.
Like, we'd physically met for 6 days. Like, you know, over the first time she came down, the second time she came down, then we moved in together. So it's, I mean, it's a crazy situation anyway.
Right.
Crazy.
Right. Now that we've established how you met and got together, tell me how things started to fall apart.
Okay. She is really, 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 really close with her ex.
Do you think there's anything illicit going on between her and her ex?
I don't know. See, the issue is, I've woke up before, you know, like 3, 4 in the morning. When I went out to the kitchen, she was, you know, giggling and laughing.
Divorce isn't easy. If you need help with your breakup, call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. So, Mrs. Graves, how close are you with your ex?
Well, we were together for 10 years from the start of a very, very young age. We had a daughter together, and we went through a lot, Your Honor, a lot of lives lost together that we knew, you know, just support system for each other. It was a little crazy. It was, we ended up being roommates for a couple of years there at the end. You know, I'm sure you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
So we ended up being roommates, and it was still, though, we were there for each other, you know, through everything. And so when I got with Clinton, it was like if there was an issue, I was always the go-to person just because we had been there together for so long for each other. But there hadn't been any intimacy at all for years.
Right. So he's just a good friend.
Right.
Do you think there's anything illicit going on between her and her ex?
I don't know. See, the issue is, I've woke up before, you know, like 3, 4 in the morning, and this is the one thing that happened. I went out to the kitchen, she was, you know, giggling and laughing at 3 in the morning. You know, I mean, granted, if you have to talk to your ex about issues that are going on, you don't need to do it in private secrecy. You know, you can just have a regular conversation.
What were you giggling about at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Here's the thing. My ex-husband, he works 1 o'clock in the evening or 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 1 o'clock in the morning. So by the time he gets home, it's about 2:30 in the morning, and I have insomnia, so I don't sleep. So when he wants to chit-chat, that's, you know, usually the best time to be able to get me, and I didn't want to wake him up.
I don't think anything illicit is going on, but if it's uncomfortable for your husband, you should curtail it a little bit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because he'll have to understand, but you have to make sacrifices for the sanctity of your home and the sanity of your man, and you can't, you know what I mean?
And I do. And we, you know, we've discussed it a lot, and I keep telling him, you know, we are just friends, and again, he's been through a lot in his life. And it's just been, you know, a good friend to have, and that's
and
really
I get all that. But my suggestion to you is, you know, good friend or not, it makes him uncomfortable, so you curtail it a little bit because he is your priority.
Right. And
Mrs. Graves, what's your biggest complaint about him?
Respect. I do everything from him, from packing his lunch to folding his clothes to doing his laundry to taking care of his kids. And
how many kids do you have?
I have 2.
And he calls me fat.
Okay.
Are you working outside the home as well?
Yes, I am. I'm also a nanny, full-time.
Wow.
So I do take care of kids all day long. We were at my daughter's birthday party at an amusement park. We tried to get on a kiddie ride with his son, because he's younger, and I did not fit. I realize I am not a tiny person, but that was no reason to make remarks and kind of giggle about it. Then we get in line for an adult ride, and he says, when we all the way through this hour-long line, he says to me, we shouldn't sit together. If the bar doesn't go down all the way, I don't want to fall out.
Okay.
He about fell over the railing.
Okay, so we joke back and forth a lot. It was all said in jest. Mm-hmm. She does the same thing back to me when I tell her.
Do you tell fat jokes to him?
I do not. I tell him I'm gonna bite his fuzzy face. I mean, honestly, like, we're silly like that.
When I'm joking around, I'm like, you know, I've got this beautiful face and this godlike body. She's like, oh, like Buddha. That hurts, you know. Granted, it's a joke. It's playful, and that's. You know, that's all it was back and forth to her.
The respect issue comes in where when we're joking, it's joking. I get that. And I don't get upset when we're joking. But to make an out-of-the-blue comment when he already knew I was upset about not being able to fit on the other ride.
I got to say, Mr. Graves, it's an embarrassing moment. You try to get in a ride, and you can't get in it, and the world is watching. That was a time to be cool and to be comforting, and there's nothing amusing about it.
I understand.
And you got to like, oh yeah, put yourself in somebody else's shoes for a minute. You couldn't fit in a ride. You'd be a little yourself.
The same thing happened to me as well. And you know, she
then you should have known
reminds
better.
me.
Oh, I made fun of him because he made fun of me, and it hurt. And I wanted him to know it hurt.
He's got your ex's mama in the house, and you're best friends with the ex. Woo! Well, what are you taking? I mean, can I have some? I mean, everything. If you would like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. Talk to me about your mother-in-law.
She lives with us, my ex-mother-in-law.
In the basement.
Your ex's?
My ex-husband's mom lives with us.
Lives with you in your house with your new house? Well, aren't you just the nicest guy? Holy moly, most people don't like regular in-laws in that house, but the ex's in-law? But go ahead.
Careful, Your Honor, his head's big enough already. She had some medical issues, and I was a licensed paramedic through the state of Michigan, so she came to stay with us. I needed help with my daughter as well, so it really just worked out mutually for all of us. And he was fine with it at the time.
At the very beginning, yeah.
I mean, does she pay you to care for her, or is she just staying there? I mean,
She contributes by, we don't have to pay daycare. We were paying $500 a month for daycare for my daughter.
Okay.
But
you're a nanny.
Right. This was before. She's been with us for a while.
I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you.
So yeah, she was contributing by that. I mean, that's like $500 a month in my pocket, you know. So yeah. I didn't really feel the need to charge.
Is she getting on your nerves?
Yeah, how
What's
great
she
her
doing?
son is all the time, and you know, stuff like that. It's aggravating enough hearing her always going about, you know, my ex and talking about my ex and, you know, tagging him in posts and stuff like that. Then her mother-in-law, ex-mother-in-law, remember
Living
ex-mother-in-law, living there. You know, she was in the basement voluntarily. We didn't we didn't put her down
her in
there.
the basement.
Yeah,
Okay,
we give her space.
All right.
She can run and dig.
It wasn't a Norman Bates situation, right? Yeah, I got you.
Right. So, no, and granted, you know, it helped out with the childcare, but I mean, there's a line that you draw when your ex-mother-in-law is living with you.
Mrs. Graves, you have hit the jackpot like nobody's business. I don't know a whole lot of men who would put up with having his wife's ex-mother in his. I don't know a whole lot of men want your mother in the house. And he's got your ex's mama in the house, and you're best friends with the ex. Woo!
Well,
what are you taking? I mean, can I have some? I mean, you're so cool.
Well, the thing is, I work a lot, so I'm out of the house a lot. I'm a cable guy. I go to work, you know, between 7:30. I don't get home between, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10, sometimes
12:30
midnight.
a.m. Wednesday.
But the cable goes out all the time.
But
and he got to be out there putting the cable back on because if people don't watch television, I don't know, they do the wrong thing.
They can't watch this if they don't have their cable.
People get funky when their cable goes. So he's got to be out there.
But it's also the 3 a.m. text from his female customers onto his work phone that I don't have access to. Mm-hmm. It's the emails that I don't have access to his email from his female customers. It's the panties that were found in his work truck.
Oh, my word.
The stack of them.
A stack?
A stack.
Okay.
Now, you're already known for volume and quantity. So you're going to have to explain to me how you got a stack of panties in your truck.
Absolutely, because when I heard about it, I was like, whatever, because like I play with the guys at work. You know, they say, oh, we found panties in your truck. I'm like, yeah, of course you did. You know, why wouldn't you?
And then they pull out a box of them.
And then they actually show me them. I'm like, whoa, like, where do they come from? Like, well, this is your truck. You tell me how they got there. It turns out, because we don't have our own trucks, we get to swap trucks around. So there was a previous worker that was in my truck, and I got his truck because I had wrecked a truck. And then I got that truck with the panties in them.
So he had proclivities that we don't even know about.
So he said.
I gotcha. There's always a whole lot going on in divorce court that people want to talk about. If you have something you want to say, join us on Twitter @DivorceCourt, or jump on our Facebook page and see what everybody's talking about on there. Sometimes you people get heated. Don't miss it. You people, you have made my day. You didn't tell me one story that I didn't find funny. I don't know what's wrong at your house. I don't think much is wrong at your house. I think that you should export your attitude to the rest of the couples that come here. You are delightful people. You are funny people. You are the most tolerant individual I have ever met in my entire life. You should be jumping up and down, doing a whoopee dance every time you see him. You should just break it out and break down and all that, because he's lovely. I was concerned about the way you met, but apparently you two are intelligent people. Not only are you intelligent, but you're engaging. I hope that you appreciate what a wonderful union you two have. It is refreshing to see. I hope you're out of the Avatar scene altogether.
Yes, ma'am. I am. I've not been on it since.
One more thing I'd like to throw in there. He still has some that he used to play with on his social media page as friends that he still talks to. That's not okay with me.
Yeah, I get that, but you know he's a good dude. I know he's a good dude. You know she's a great woman. I know she's a great woman. Y'all have a great life. This matter is adjourned. We could all learn a lesson from Clinton and Amberly. He's got his wife's ex-husband's mother living in his house, and he's still laughing. It just goes to show it's all about perspective.